much, Dennis. That was well worth waiting for. Yeah, and I am so glad that you were writing about the working life of this province. Yeah, I mean...
I've had a lot of good response.
Yes, you certainly have. Excellent reviews.
So, and the people come out of crowds and say, hey, I worked on the Green Chain one
How's
time.
everybody doing over here?
Nice.
Just make something else on the Green Chain.
All right, so, wow, different kinds of flavors. That was definitely something to chew on. And now,
Splinters in your teeth on that one.
lucky us, Brad, have you read here at Poetic Justice before?
Not at this location, it was at the, when it was...
It was at Renaissance.
Yeah.
Renaissance Books. Okay, which reminds me quickly, I'll just let you know that in March, the first 3 Poetic Justices will be at Renaissance Bookstore, which is just up the street on
On 6th.
6th.
Just down 2 blocks and up about a half block or
Yeah.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So look for that. And now, we're going to welcome to Poetic Justice, Brad Cran, a poet, essayist, and photographer. He was the 2nd Poet Laureate for the City of Vancouver from 2009 to 2011. He published his first book of poetry, The Good Life, in 2001, and his book, Hope in the Shadows, with Gillian Jerome, won the City of Vancouver Book Award and has raised more than $50,000 for marginalized people in Vancouver's downtown east side. Yes. Yeah. Okay, it says here, his 2nd book of poetry. So Hope in the Shadows is the photography book.
It's, those are photographs taken by people in the downtown, so
Yeah.
disposable cameras. And then
Like the calendar.
yeah, like the calendar.
Right, okay, you organize that. Okay, so your 2nd book of poetry, which you're reading from today,
Yes.
is Ink on Paper. Please welcome up Brad Cran.
Thanks. Yeah, Hope and Shadows. So we work with the archive of photographs from the calendar, and so there's about, I think we had 50, 60,000 photographs by the time we were doing it. And anyway, after the book came out, I was walking down the street, and this guy's like, "Hey man, you want to buy a book?" Because they sell it on the street. And I said, "Well, actually, my wife and I did that. We wrote it, compiled it." I said, "How are sales going?" He's like, not that good, I do better at the calendar." And I said, "Well, how many have you sold?" It's like, "Well, about 750.
What?
Yeah. So this guy, and his name's Danny, and so my first book, poetry, most books of poetry, I have a print run of 500.
That's right.
So Danny had sold, this was even 2 years ago, and he stands out at, sells in front of the Whole Foods at Vine and Fourth.
Yeah.
So big for him. But he didn't think that was anything special, so I did most of it, but okay. You only knew. And yeah, just 2 things is what Dennis said that I was going to say, but I love the room. It's just amazing. And I'm reading with you both, so.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm going to be noisy for like 2 seconds, so before you start, just grab some ice.
Oh, okay, yeah, do go ahead.
We'll talk amongst ourselves.
You know,
That's not too
what do you think of this idea?
That would be good for your.
Thinking of doing a writing workshop in the downtown east side and use the Hope in the Shadow calendar as writing prompts. I'll use the photographs as writing prompts.
Yeah.
Have them write about. Yeah?
Yeah, well, we've done quite a few workshops down there. I don't do it anymore just because of time, because of other things, but everyone there's always sort of really appreciative,
Yeah.
which is really good. When we had the poetry conference, we brought, I think we gave out 20 free passes to people there. They added a vitality and a reality to the whole thing, not to all the poets, I was interested in it down, but it's great. So yeah, anything we can do in the downtown side is always fun.
Right. Should we raise that microphone? I think so. Yeah, I think
Raise?
so too. Yeah.
I got it.
All right. What, you're experienced at these things?
At Raise
Mike
Nights, I
101,
think
that's
so.
what you got,
Yeah.
that's what you learn. Actually, they don't teach you that in grade
When
right?
you're tall or short,
Oh,
you have
they
to
should.
adapt, right?
Yeah. Among all the things that I was teaching, but at least they like writing. Instead of listening to lectures about writing.
So I'm just gonna read, I think I'll read 4 poems. Conflating Memories While Listening to Day In, Day Out by Billie Holiday. In the Rome of my youth, I wore a paper hat. They said bebop and I knew what they meant. Danced the foxtrot and called my friends Buster. But a year later I fished steelhead, ate mud and slept on the banks of the Vetter. We drank vodka called Silent Sam, no more smokes on the drive back down the valley, which in all respects is a highway to everywhere. The music purred and then bounced. I quit my job to watch a man play guitar. Of all the stupid fucks, I hope I was at least the stupidest for a night or two. At sunset, when my friends jumped off the cliff and into the lake, I was the one who instead scuttled down like a drunk spider. I've always loved the drive back down the Hope Princeton. You can see a pioneer still waiting to walk out of his life and into Technicolor. It didn't matter where we were going, but we were going to the rhythm of Art Blakey. I also liked Lester Young and Horace Silver, but I forget them now. Above all, my grandfather liked the music of Tex Beneke and Glenn Miller. At university, we listened to Herbie Hancock playing Cantaloupe Island over and over. Then the remix with Pee Wee Marquette. I danced with 2 women in my living room and one asked me to take a bath, but I didn't understand until later that if I had said yes, that this could have led to sex. Instead, I declined and danced into my own head to the music of a blue trombone. Truth is okay, but I prefer the crack and pepper of a flawed memory. There are 2 things that remind me of sex: the sound of saxophone and the scent of mock orange. I am with you in Tucson walking the warm street, and there's something else I'm remembering. You are now in the memories I formed before we met. I love that I've gotten it all wrong. Surely we were walking down that street, but doesn't it feel more accurate to say that we were dancing? Memory is the most imperfect journalism, but I can tell you, mostly, I'm the one who's right. I remember clearly now how to hold you with the arrogance of youth. Somewhere encoded in my mind is that jazz.